Let's go. Alright guys, who's pumped after watching WWE Fastlane 2018? What do you guys think? Let me know as always in the chat. I want to hear you guys. Let's get this communication talking. Let's get this community talking. Alright guys, without further ado, welcome to the World of Wrestling show. As always, I'm your host, Jake Randy, and let's talk WWE Fastlane. Let's do it. Let's get it. Alright guys, let's jump into it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. I want to hear all you guys out there. What do you guys think of WWE Fastlane 2018? Was it as good as you expected? Was it as better than you expected? Sorry, I gotta clear my throat. But for me, guys, I didn't expect tonight to be that great. You know, going into this night, you know, I feel like a lot of fans thought it was very predictable, and it still was very predictable. But in the end of the night, I think they put on a pretty damn good show for something that was already like predictable. I think we all got something great, and I'm pretty satisfied with what we saw tonight. Dang, I got something in my throat. But yeah, I mean, we saw a couple of good matches. Tonight was full of chemistry. The crowd, what was it, Columbus, Ohio? It was sold out actually. This place was sold out. And they were kind of quiet at times. You know, I was a little disappointed with the crowd every once in a while. But, I mean, they were there. It's not like they didn't sell out. So I was surprised that Fastlane even sold out, you know. I felt like since, like, the rumors were going around that Elimination Chamber was hard to sell out, I definitely was thinking, all right, Fastlane's not going to get that many buys. It's not going to be sold out. But that wasn't the case tonight. It was definitely sold out. But the crowd just, you know, they could have been a little bit louder. They weren't the loudest tonight. But let's go ahead and jump into the matches, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into what we saw. So tonight we kicked off the show with Shinsuke versus Rusev, which to me was a pretty decent match, man. Like I said, tonight we saw a lot of chemistry between different wrestlers that I didn't expect to see. Like in my prediction video yesterday, I thought Shinsuke versus Rusev was definitely going to be just kind of like a quick match that was like kind of last minute given. And maybe it was booked that way, but tonight we saw them go out there and we saw a little something that we haven't seen between Shinsuke and Rusev. So I thought that was great, man. I thought this match was pretty good. We saw Shinsuke get the win over Rusev as expected. You know, like I said, tonight was very predictable, but we saw a lot of good matches tonight. You know, we saw professional wrestling in the ring, not just sports entertainment. We saw, you know, this match. They had Rusev selling his leg as he took a submission hold from Shinsuke during the match, and then they had him selling the leg throughout the match, where he did pretty well. He made it seem like, you know, he was actually hurt throughout this match. Then we get the finish, man. What was the finish? It was this. Oh yeah, it was before we get to the finish, actually, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Rusev attacked Shinsuke with this amazing super kick, like. It looked like a pretty hard super kick, man. And he might have actually connected with him on the chin. I don't know if he did or not, but it looked pretty aggressive, man. And it looked perfect. Shinsuke sold it well. And, man, what a way for Shinsuke to sell that, man. He took a bump right on his head. Perfect, nice-looking super kick. And we saw this, you know, like I said, it's not like it was the greatest pay-per-view or this was the greatest chemistry between each other, but it was decent chemistry. You know, Rusev Day's over with the crowd, man, and he's getting more over and over as the days go on. It seems like he's selling a lot of merch because I'm seeing a lot of Rusev Day shirts in the crowd. He really is like really over. I don't know what the plans are for him in the future. As going towards WrestleMania, it doesn't seem like they're going to do a lot with Rusev, but hopefully we see them kind of do something with Rusev at least after WrestleMania, because this guy's over and he deserves a spot on if not a title match, man, at least mid card, if not a world title match. But yeah, he's definitely getting over with the crowd more, and you know, I want to see more Rusev. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that wants to see more Rusev Day. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna drink some water as my voice is just really going out. I think ever since the show last night. So give me one quick second. All right, I'm back. Just had to get a couple of sip of water right there. My throat was really scratchy right there, and like I said, I almost lost my voice yesterday from the show last night just from talking so much. Yeah, so we see Shinsuke and Rusev have this pretty decent match. You know, obviously Shinsuke was gonna win tonight. He's not gonna lose heading into WrestleMania as the Royal Rumble winner. Rightfully so, I guess you'd say. And they put on a good performance tonight. I thought something, you know, to kick off the show well. Shinsuke, man, like I'm watching his entrance tonight. During coming out tonight to start off the show, it just got me thinking, what do you guys think his entrance gonna be like come WrestleMania? You know, like are they gonna have the violinist come out and he's gonna kind of, you know, are they gonna do something big for him? I hope so, because you know, Stlyes and Shinsuke is going to be a huge match, and that's kind of a spoiler right there, right? But this is all about spoilers, so if you're watching this, expect spoilers, obviously. This is WWE Fastlane 2018 coverage and results video. But yeah, I hope they do something big for Shinsuke, man. With that entrance, the whole crowd singing along. I think this is his first WrestleMania. You know, they got to kick it off big, so hopefully they do something nice for Shinsuke. Yeah, so Shinsuke delivers a Kinshasa to the back of Rusev's head, and then he delivers another one to the front of Rusev, and that's it for the pin. Shinsuke gets the win. Predictable, right? But if you watched Fastlane, you actually watched the match, I think you'd actually be entertained by it. At least I was. And again, I'm not going to rate this pay-per-view as the greatest pay-per-view or had the greatest matches on it, but it definitely kept me entertained, and it went by pretty quick. I think it was a small card tonight, but it wasn't like a drag, you know. I didn't feel like, oh, there's this match and that match. I think everyone did great tonight, man. Smackdown roster really looked up there. So going on to the next match, guys, we saw Bobby Roode and Randy Orton take on each other, and going into this match, you know, it's ego versus ego. You know, you had Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton, and I thought they put on a good performance. Like I said, there was a lot of great chemistry tonight, guys. We saw these two go at it. Like I said, this was like an ego versus ego style. I would rather prefer Bobby Roode, because in NXT as a heel, he was great. I'd rather prefer him as a heel in this situation. And even if they were both heel, we've seen people in NXT. They can have heel versus heel, and that's not an issue. I think in this generation of wrestling, whenever you look at heel versus heel or face versus face, people automatically get turned off by that. And you know, but I've seen NXT do it, and they could definitely do that. All I'm saying is I would like to see Bobby Roode as a heel, because he's got that ego, you know, and with that attitude of the whole glorious thing, he seems like somebody, you know, you'd want to be a heel, because as a guy that's cocky and selfish like that, you know, you would think he'd be just a heel character, but somehow he's still a face. But besides that, you know, Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, they had some great chemistry together. You know, during the match, I think the commentators had mentioned that this was sort of a dream match, because Orton and Bobby Roode had kind of went down different paths of wrestling, you know, kind of signaling at, you know, Roode was in Impact Wrestling or TNA at the time, and then Orton was in the WWE, and they kind of had similar sort of paths, I guess you'd say. They were like in wrestling at the same time, but in different companies. It's kind of like what they were signaling towards, and that got me thinking, you know, that's true, you know, this is like a dream match, but the problem with it is that the booking was so bad for it that I feel like it didn't give off that real dream match feel. You know, this for all we know could have been a WrestleMania match, you know. There's probably a lot of people that are going to disagree with that, but I think if they're with the right build, this could definitely have been a great feud. And the feud's not over. Obviously, they're throwing Jinder Mahal in, because what happened tonight was we saw Orton get the win. Wins. This is not what I expected. I predicted that Bobby Roode was going to retain, and I thought Jinder Mahal was just going to get involved in the middle of the match and cause a DQ or something, and that was going to lead towards the whole triple threat that's planned for WrestleMania between Jinder, Bobby Roode, and Orton. But that wasn't the case, and I'm kind of glad that wasn't, because how many times have we seen that in WWE where there's a disqualification and it just leads to another match? You know, it was something different tonight, I think, and it was definitely a lot of things that made you second guess yourself in your prediction, because I think a lot of it was predictable, but there were some times where, you know, they were like making you second guess, like, is this actually going to happen? I think with Orton winning tonight, that really threw a lot of people off. I didn't expect Orton to win. I'm not upset by it, because I think it does add to the feud more. It's going to make this more interesting going into WrestleMania, I believe. Orton, yeah, he wins his first United States Championship tonight against Bobby Roode. And then they had Jinder Mahal come in after the match, which is what I like, because, like I said, how many times have we seen a heel come in during the middle of the match, cause a disqualification that leads to a triple threat in the future, whatever. This was something different. You know, Jinder Mahal waited for the match to end. We see Orton win with an RKO out of nowhere as Bobby Roode tries to jump off the top rope and he catches him with the RKO. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we see Jinder Mahal come to the ring, comes down to the ring and takes out Orton, but Bobby Roode still saves Orton for a second, because he gives the Glorious DDT to Jinder Mahal, and then we see him pick up Randy Orton and give him the Glorious DDT. So, you know, that's what I like. You know, I don't like that whole thing they've been doing on SmackDown where they were like, you know, Bobby Roode didn't want to hurt Orton, and you know, he was kind of like being the face, but now he's not a heel, but he went out there and you know, there's no friends in this rivalry, I guess you'd say. So I think they did well with that tonight. I'm not upset. There might be a lot of people upset that Bobby Roode has already lost the United States Championship to Orton. I wouldn't be upset. I mean, there's a chance, you know, Bobby Roode wins it back at WrestleMania, and that'll be a good moment. Or there's a chance, you know, Jinder Mahal wins. I don't know. But again, I think they entertained me tonight. Let me guys know what you think. Again, I'm not going to try to praise Fastlane again as like the greatest pay-per-view. It wasn't the greatest pay-per-view. They had its ups and downs, but, you know, like I said, it kind of had you on your, kind of as like, you know, you were thinking, are your predictions right? And then they had Orton win. You did, I would say I did expect that there would be a title change tonight, because I said on my predictions videos yesterday that I wouldn't imagine a title not to change on a pay-per-view. So it made sense. You know, we saw Roode lose his title. He's the only title we saw change hands tonight. So yeah, that's that match right there. We see Randy Orton get that pin over Roode, which was a little unexpected, but nonetheless, I think it was still pretty entertaining and some great chemistry between the two. I'd love to see a little more from them. What else do we have here? We got after this match, we saw Becky Lynch and, or actually, I wanted to mention something. I had this written down in my notes. I don't know if you guys caught this, but during the Orton and Bobby Roode match, did you guys hear what Byron Saxton had said about? He said it was like it was the superplex. Orton had Roode on the top rope for the suplex. He gives him a superplex. They showed the replay once, and then you hear Saxton call in the back, I think, because he said something about Kevin, and he was like, "Hey, Kevin, can you?" Or he was like, "Play that back. I want to see that one more time, and pause it in the air, Kevin." And that just threw me off for a while, and then it hit me once Corey Graves said, "Oh, Byron Saxton's making calls over here," you know, trying to like add to it like it's kayfabe or something. But that was funny to me, because that's, you know, he's talking to Kevin Dunn back there, and you know, for Kevin Dunn's never like mentioned on live television. He hasn't been mentioned in years. It was a recent segment when they had Strowman go to the back of the truck, and then they showed Kevin Dunn there. But yeah, it was funny to hear Kevin Dunn's name, because, you know, that guy's Kevin Dunn, if you guys don't know, he's got a lot more control than a lot of people think, and people hate him, some people like him. It's funny because he's been there for so many years, man, and he's been directing WWE for so long that it's kind of odd that you never see him. But yeah, he's the guy in the back in the truck, so I thought that was just a little funny for the marks and the smarks out there that probably caught that moment. But yeah, jumping into this match right here, we saw Becky Lynch and who was it? Naomi, yeah, versus Natalya and Carmella, and Becky Lynch looking straight fire tonight with that new gear. That looked pretty nice. Then we saw, what do we see? I'm trying to look at my notes here, guys. Sorry if I'm still getting new to this whole live stream stuff, man. Just started this whole live stream stuff recently. Let's see. Yeah. Becky Lynch and Naomi get the upset loss, sort of, in a way. I didn't predict this. I thought definitely Lynch and Naomi would definitely get this win, but instead we saw Carmella get that upset win over Becky Lynch. I'm trying to remember exactly. I remember something with the briefcase came involved, right? Remind me again in the chat, guys, if I'm wrong, but I think it was something with the briefcase eventually got involved. I think Carmella was going to use the briefcase as the ref was distracted. Becky Lynch tried to grab her away from it, and I just remembered eventually it led to a super kick. The super kick that's in this image right here. This is where we saw Becky Lynch take the super kick from Carmella, which I guess is her finishing maneuver right here, because that put Lynch out for the 3 count. I was, with this match, I'm not sure if they gave the win to Carmella to sort of like build her up as, she's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder at the moment. And the rumor, if you guys know, is that Carmella is actually going to cash in at WrestleMania and lose. So maybe they're trying to add some like realism, as in, Carmella might cash in and she might win because you've seen her win in the past few weeks. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're doing. But as a Becky Lynch fan, I'm a pretty big fan of Becky Lynch. My 2 favorite female wrestlers in this company are, of course, Alexa Bliss, who I've been supporting since the beginning, and Becky Lynch, who I've been supporting pretty much from the beginning as well. I've watched her as she has gone up in the rankings in NXT. But the thing with Becky Lynch is, man, she's always been such an underdog in this company, and it's kind of sad because she's very talented, man, and she deserves more than this, I believe. She just, I've seen her lose in the past couple weeks on SmackDown, and it's like, that's the same person that was the SmackDown Women's Champion, like when SmackDown started? This is the female wrestler that we saw get drafted to SmackDown as the number 1 pick, not number 1 pick, but the first female draft pick to SmackDown, and now all of a sudden she's losing these matches. It's like, I wish we'd see Becky Lynch up there at the top with Charlotte, which we'll get to in a minute, because obviously, I guess you would say Lynch isn't up there because Charlotte's got other plans coming WrestleMania. But as a Lynch fan, man, I hope she, there's 2 things I hope for. The first thing is when she makes her entrance, man, I would just love for the crowd to actually sing her music. I feel like they did this in NXT. I could be wrong, but I don't remember how the song goes, but if the crowd can do the whole fist bump and all that stuff, rocking out, man, I think that would be awesome. And I don't understand why they don't. I feel like that song's catchy. Why aren't people chanting to that? I've been to events live, and I just never hear that many people. I think it was a Survivor Series I went to where she kind of did get a good pop, and they kind of were singing her song. That was kind of cool, but I feel like they should definitely sing her song in the crowd. Of course, that's not something you can just force upon people, but I'm surprised people don't do that. I think a lot of people do respect Lynch, though, as a performer and as a fan. I think a lot of people like Lynch, so I don't see why she's not getting pushed. But WrestleMania is around the corner, and things aren't looking too great for her as she takes this pin tonight against Carmella and Natalya, which was kind of a pointless match. So it's not like she's getting buried, it's not like she's a jobber or anything. She just took the loss tonight in a match that didn't really matter. So then, we kind of get this Becky Lynch face right here. That shows you how her career is going, right? But hopefully good things for her future come. The next match, guys, we get the Usos versus the New Day. And okay, I kind of sound like that. I kind of sound like Titus Worldwide. But no, we get the New Day versus the Usos. And, you know, I guess coming into this match, I sort of expected that this would be another, I'm not going to say 5-star match, but, you know, another great performance by these two teams, because we saw them at Hell in a Cell. We saw them at a couple other pay-per-views where they threw on amazing matches, you know, where I've said it before, there was one pay-per-view, I don't remember what it was, but they kicked off the show and they stole the show. I think they had a match at SummerSlam too, right? And this SummerSlam this year, I think, was pretty bad, if I remember correctly. But I think they had a match at SummerSlam, and they had a great match. I think they stole the show that night. I might be wrong. But like these two tag teams, like we've said, they're two great performers, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. So tonight, we sort of didn't get that. Like I said, tonight was kind of predictable, but at the same time, it was a little unpredictable. A lot of things you thought were going to go down, some happened. Like, a lot of things happened that we predicted, and then a lot of things kind of didn't happen. Tonight, we saw the Usos and the New Day. Hey, man, what's going on? Gundam 0592, thanks for the subscription. But like I said, we had the New Day and the Usos sort of have this sort of fast match tonight, where we really expected them to, I guess, go at it like they had in the past, and it kind of just became real quick a spot fest where they were you know, having the Usos fly out the ring. I think there was a time where they traded maneuvers, where they had one of the Usos do Kofi's maneuver, and then they had them do, I forget the name of their move, the New Day's finishing move, where they kind of, Big E holds one of them, and then the other guy jumps off the top and lands on him. They kind of traded maneuvers, because I remember the New Day did the Usos finishing maneuver off the top rope, the splash, that Samoan splash. But yeah, it all made sense why they didn't exactly build this match up like it was in the past, because the intentions were for the Bludgeon Brothers to interrupt this match and sort of, I guess, set up a feud heading towards WrestleMania 34. It looks like we're going to get a triple threat, tag team triple threat between them. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys excited for something like that? Would you guys be interested in the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos versus the New Day come WrestleMania? But yeah, like I said, tonight we saw the Usos and the New Day sort of have this fast-paced match, because eventually it led to the Bludgeon Brothers interrupting and causing a DQ ending. And they just destroyed. You know, they went havoc all over the ring with every teammate. They took out the Usos. They took out the New Day. I guess they're trying to build them up. You know, I mean, obviously they're trying to build them up. They've had them take these squash matches on Smackdown, and tonight we finally saw them show up at a pay-per-view. So it does look like they're starting to go forward with Rowan and Harper and take them into Mania, looking strong. They powerbombed Xavier Woods on top of the steel steps, and they had him. They said later in the night that Xavier Woods had something wrong with his spine. I think it was all kayfabe, but they said he would be out of action for a while. I'm not sure if maybe they're saying that storyline so they can have the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day, but it's going to be Kofi and Big E, and they kind of write off Xavier Woods, and maybe he doesn't show up there, or maybe he's on the side of the apron during that match at WrestleMania. I don't know. I'm thinking a lot ahead, but apparently Xavier Woods was injured, but I say that with quotation because I think it was a kayfabe injury or something for the Bludgeon Brothers to get more heat heading into WrestleMania 34. Let me know again, guys, what you thought about this. We got Gundam in the chat. We say it would bring a good dynamic to the match if it goes down at WrestleMania. I agree. Yeah, it definitely would. I think it adds a different effect because we have seen the Usos and the New Day go at it for a couple times, so it kind of would be a little bit repetitive. So I guess adding the Bludgeon Brothers does add a little dynamic, like you said. I agree completely 100% with that. Yeah, so that's that. We jump into Charlotte versus Ruby Riot, which goes down after that match. And these two put on a pretty good match. You know, Ruby Riot, man, showed up tonight, I think. And they had a bunch of crazy spots. You know, Charlotte did her signature moonsault off the barricade. You had the Riot Squad. They were kind of talking about how the Riot Squad wouldn't show up tonight and it would just be a singles match. But, of course, that wasn't the case. The Riot Squad shows up, and that causes Naomi and Lynch to come back out. And, you know, they're in Charlotte's corner as the Riot Squad's in Ruby Riot's corner. They both eventually get tossed out by the ref. The ref throws both teams out. You know, typical WWE, throws them out. They get out of here. Then we see this match go down to just Ruby Riot and Charlotte for a couple of minutes. But as the Riot Squad got kicked out, they sort of set up Ruby Riot to be distracted by that whole scenario. So Charlotte got the upper hand there. Then they had this pretty like odd spot, but like it looked pretty cool, where they had sort of Ruby Riot was like almost, I'm trying to see like how it's like a hurricanrana, but like backwards. I'm trying to think of the right word, but Charlotte basically pulled her up over her shoulders and put Ruby Riot's face first into the ring post, or not the ring post, turnbuckle, and that laid her out. And then Charlotte set up the figure 8 for the win. Again, tonight was a little predictable. I think a lot of people might agree with that, but it's still a good performance, man, by these two female wrestlers right here. Great performance by the two. Like I said, I was just kind of so shocked by a lot of this. I thought tonight was going to be a real sleeper show. But to me, it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't so much of a sleeper because I was busy setting up this whole the live stream and getting all the equipment ready. But I was still paying attention. You know, I have on right here my dual monitor. I have the network rolling, and I'm watching Fastlane, taking down my notes and everything. So you know, it's different for me. Let me know. You know, Gundam, if you're still in the chat, let me know what you thought about tonight. Were you satisfied by tonight? Did you not like it? Is there anything that you did enjoy? Yeah, so then like I said, man, tonight's card was really quick. We kind of went through it pretty fast. I think it was still 3 hours though. Yeah, I believe it was 3 hours. It just ended at 10, so yeah, it was a 3-hour show, but it didn't exactly like feel like. I was impressed. They put on a good match. Yeah, man, they really did. And tonight, like I said, I think it threw me off guard that it was actually a good show. You know, I mean, like I said, it's not going to be the greatest pay-per-view down in history, but they shocked me tonight by putting on a pretty decent show. So then we jump into the main event, guys. Pretty crazy main event, man. This kicked off. Oh, well, hold on. Wait, where am I going? Hold on, guys. My bad. We have Asuka up here. This is like big stuff because you know there was rumors and speculation going around that Asuka and Charlotte was a possible match. And like I said on my prediction video yesterday, I've been wondering why they hadn't shown Alexa Bliss and Asuka. You know, the little image where they show the WrestleMania, and you know, like just like how they showed Roman and Brock, they have like that sort of graphic they put on where it's, you know, it shows the WrestleMania and all that behind them and stuff. They hadn't shown that for Asuka and Alexa Bliss, but yet they had been building and acting like Bliss and Asuka were gonna have this match and like it was set in stone. But we never even heard a word from Asuka. So I think WWE tried to swerve the fans there. But eventually people were trying to catch on to that, wondering, you know, why they were building Nia Jax up on Raw. But then, you know, we had Asuka who hadn't said her match yet. And tonight we got the confirmation as we see the cliche of WrestleMania point to sign. But pretty awesome moment because the crowd was pretty shocked by this. I didn't expect it tonight. I just completely forgot about this going into Fastlane. So Charlotte got the win, and then all of a sudden we see Asuka come out and have a stare down with Charlotte, and she points to the WrestleMania sign. And in WWE, we all know that's obviously a signal. It's booked. It's set in stone. I think then they showed the graphic. I'm not sure if they did tonight. I'm sure we'll see it soon. My question is, though, does this mean Asuka is on SmackDown? You know, is she going to be on Raw tomorrow night, or is Asuka officially a part of the SmackDown brand? Or is it going to be like Asuka's on Raw and SmackDown, and then she appears on SmackDown the night after Mania, and then she's officially a part of the roster? I guess we'll wait to see what happens with that, because I guess I would think that, you know, that Asuka's on SmackDown. Like, if they're going to build up this feud, she's got to be on SmackDown, because why is she going to be on Raw for, unless she's just going to have like squash matches on Raw to build up towards this, and so it'll have like Charlotte come to Raw and then Asuka will go to SmackDown. I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, it's set in stone, man. I can't believe I almost skipped over that. That was probably one of the biggest moments tonight, besides what happened down in the main event. Big moment right there. I think they're gonna have a great match at WrestleMania. These two, I don't think we've ever seen them against each other, right? I could be wrong, but I don't think even in NXT they ever clashed or anything. They never like crossed paths, because I think Charlotte got caught up in to the main roster, and then we saw Asuka sort of start her undefeated streak and get known more, as Charlotte had left by that time. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. I will say though that we're probably gonna see Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss on Raw at WrestleMania, and to me that's honestly not the most exciting match. I'm a big Bliss fan, but still, I don't imagine that being the greatest match. They may just wait until after WrestleMania to decide what show she stays with, but for now she'll jump between. I agree, yeah, I could see that. And not only that, but maybe it'll build up this, because more people watch Raw than SmackDown. So maybe it'll sort of build up towards this match at WrestleMania more if they kind of have it back and forth on Raw and SmackDown. That'll be good for, I think, leading up to WrestleMania. Yeah, pretty big moment there, man. Like I said, the last thing, of course, was the main event between so many. This became a six man. I still can't think of what the name is for this. Is it a 6-man scramble or? I don't know, but a 6-man title match, right? Not an elimination match, just whoever gets the first pinfall wins. And again, tonight it shocked me because I think it was predictable. I think everyone knew Stlyes and Shinsuke was kind of set in stone. We weren't going to expect that to change. They did a pretty good job of adding some like intrigue of like, are we actually going to get that match, or are we going to see Cena get thrown in or whatever? I think a lot of people kind of got concerned, but I think deep down we all knew that Stlyes and Shinsuke was the match they were going with. Before this match, I think we saw AJ Styles sort of have a backstage segment where he was talking to Renee Young, and she was asking him, tonight's odds are not in your favor. Are you concerned about that? And then we saw Shinsuke approach Styles backstage, and he says, I wish you luck, because I want to see you at WrestleMania. I think they called it a six-pack. Yeah, six-packs challenge. Six-packs challenge match. I get so confused, man. It was because it started off with a triple threat, and then it went to a fatal 4-way, and then it went to a fatal 5-way. So I completely forgot. Yeah, six-packs challenge. That's what it was called. Man, tonight, like I said, they put on a pretty decent matchup. Started off a little weird. Everyone just started selling AAs in the beginning. Cena, I think he took Sami Zayn out first with an AA, then Kevin Owens, and then Baron Corbin. It just eventually turned out to be like everyone running towards Cena for an AA, and that led to the only one that didn't get taken AA was Styles. So they kind of just had to stare down the ring. We've seen them have this feud between each other for quite some time. They have that's another 2 competitors that have great chemistry in the ring. So we saw a lot of cool spots. A lot of action, man. It was action packed, and that's good that it was. You can't expect it to be a very slow match when it's this many competitors in the ring. So they did a damn good job of it. I'm trying to think of details what happened tonight. I know, like I said, we saw it kick off with a bunch of AAs. Then we saw Sami Zayn sort of get into a little argument with Kevin Owens. Agreed. There's no way they would jeopardize that match at WrestleMania. It has the potential to be such an amazing match between AJ. It does, man. That's a huge match, and like I've said in the past, I think really it's they're having their Lesnar versus Roman match, and I don't like to divide the audience and say smarks and marks and casuals, but they're gonna have Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and I know a lot of people are upset that they don't want to see that, and it might be the main event. But at least for the pro wrestling fans, we're gonna get Shinsuke versus Styles, because come WrestleMania, they're gonna put on a hell of a show. I think they're gonna tear down the roof with that. At least I'd expect them to. I mean, we saw their match in Japan, where I've seen it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. They had an amazing match there, so why not have it at WrestleMania? I just hope they give them enough time for that match. But yeah, I think they're gonna steal the show come WrestleMania, man. I can't wait for that. Back to the main event, though, we saw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens sort of get into their feud they had going on, where Sami Zayn was saying, "I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna lay down for you in the middle of the ring, and you can take the pin." He does, they slowly build up towards it. He slowly gets on the ground. It becomes playing possum. He gets Kevin Owens into a roll up for a close 2 count, and he kicks out. Then this is where stuff just starts getting a little crazy, but we see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens going at it. Sami Zayn kind of like, I think Owens was going for that power bomb on the side of that apron again, and Sami reversed it and kind of like moonsaulted him behind him and landed straight on the apron. So Kevin Owens was out for a couple of seconds. Then we saw Sami Zayn get into an argument with Shane, and he sort of was telling him, "Is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted, Shane?" They've been having that feud between Shane and Bryan and Owens and Sami Zayn. So we kind of saw that happen tonight. We didn't see no Bryan, but he's handling probably other things. Sadly, we're not going to see probably Daniel Bryan compete at WrestleMania. I don't think anyone really honestly suspected that he wasn't going to get approved by the doctors to wrestle again, at least not in the WWE. But we saw some interesting things go down between Owens, Zayn, and Shane, because as Sami Zayn was arguing with Shane, Kevin Owens was going to super kick Zayn in the back of the head, but Sami Zayn saw it coming. He moved out the way and straight super kick to the face of Shane McMahon. So then this is when things got a little weird, because then you see, I think Zayn took out Owens. Or no, you see Owens take out Zayn, and then you see Owens get in the ring, and he gives a pop-up powerbomb to, I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it Dolph Ziggler? It might have been Dolph Ziggler. It was somebody in the ring, and he gives him a pop-up powerbomb for a really close 2 count. I thought that was it. I was like, man, I thought Owens was actually going to win there, because it didn't look like anyone was jumping in time. But then you see Shane pull out the ref, and, then we see, I think Sami Zayn unexpectedly comes out of nowhere as Kevin Owens is arguing with Shane McMahon. He gives him a haluva kick, and then there's another close 2 count, but this time Shane pulls out Sami Zayn. So again, there goes that, that feud between them. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that, because like I said yesterday, the rumors going around were that like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were just going to be thrown in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And that kind of sucks, I don't exactly imagine that happening with how much time they're giving them on screen. Because what does that all lead to? WrestleMania is like the mecca of wrestling. This is where all feuds come to an end sometimes, or majority of the time. So you would expect something for them to have a match. If it's going to be Shane and Owens or Shane versus Owens versus Sami Zayn or something. I know the rumor recently was also being thrown around was Dolph Ziggler is going to have a feud with Shane McMahon heading to Mania. A lot of questions are still unanswered, so it makes sense, because Fastlane was a roadblock in the way of WrestleMania. So now that Fastlane's out the way, come SmackDown on Tuesday, I think we'll start seeing more of a build-up heading into Mania. But yeah, again with this match, we saw a lot of chaos going on. So we saw that Shane, Owens, and Zayn kind of segment go down in the ring. Then we saw, who was it? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get all my notes here so I can tell you guys the right things that went down for anyone who didn't see it. Yeah, we saw Baron Corbin come out of nowhere after all that went down, and he just started hitting everybody with steel steps left and right. Owens and Zayn should have just have a singles match they put on. Yeah, exactly. I would agree too with that. And I don't mean to keep agreeing with you, man, but like you got some good points. They really should. They don't have to have Shane at WrestleMania. They've had Shane at WrestleMania for the past couple of years. He had, he put on some pretty decent matches, but he put on some WrestleMania moments, jumping off the Hell in a Cell. But he's at that point in his career where he doesn't need to be thrown. You don't have to have all the McMahons in a match. We already got Stephanie in a match. We don't have to have Shane there too. I think Zayn and Owens could definitely throw on a good match. Dude, we've seen them in the Indies throw on great matches with while they were Kevin Steen and El Generico. These guys, they're like brothers to each other outside the ring, and they can put on a hell of a match. So why not give them that WrestleMania moment? Why not have that WrestleMania match? I could definitely see that happening, but I feel like I just hope these rumors are wrong, man, about this whole Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens thrown into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Because if they are, then they're most likely not going to win it. And there's not even anything valuable about that. Like you don't get a title match if you win it. You just, like I said before, you get a trophy you can hold around for a few weeks and brag about how you won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. which has never done any good for anyone in the past. So I really would love to see Owen and Zayn have a match, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get that. All we can do is hope and find out, right, in the next coming weeks. So back to the main event, we saw Corbin just hitting everybody with the steel steps. Then we saw Cena get involved again. Actually, I forgot to mention that during all this, Stlyes wasn't involved with much of this because Stlyes had been put through the announce table with an AA by Cena, so that took him out for the majority of the match. Exactly, the fans don't really need Shane in another match, and it would be such a shame if they were just throwing. Yeah, it would. Again, yeah. So Cena had put Stlyes through the announce table, so that put out Stlyes pretty much the majority of the match. The rest of the match was kind of like angles going down. We saw, like I said, Sami Zayn and Owens have their angle. Then we saw Baron Corbin get involved. We saw Dolph Ziggler. He got involved after Cena took out Baron Corbin with an AA on the steel steps. We see Dolph Ziggler get taken out by Cena by an AA, and then we see Kevin Owens out of nowhere come out. This is just a moment where everyone's throwing in their finishing maneuvers, so you kind of knew this was the ending coming up. Then you saw Kevin Owens get Cena in the pop-up powerbomb, and out of nowhere comes flying the phenomenal forearm. AJ Styles hits Kevin Owens square in the nose for the 3 count. And heading to WrestleMania 34, your WWE champion is AJ Styles. You saw the graphic at the end of the match. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania 34. It's going down. I'm psyched. Can't wait to see it. It's probably going to steal the show. I know that's a bit bold prediction, but I think a lot of people would agree that might just steal the show. Then we sort of see Cena on the side of the ring, kind of, saddened by this. He pushes the camera out the way. It's building up towards Cena and Undertaker. Let me know what you think, Gundam. What do you think about do you think it's gonna be Cena and Undertaker or Cena in some other angle? Because I've been saying recently on a couple of my videos that I could imagine Cena is playing the sad role, but he's trying to find his road to WrestleMania, and he failed at the Elimination Chamber, the Royal Rumble. He failed here, and he's been failing, but I just feel like he's gonna come to a segment on Raw where we're gonna see Cena play that sad role, where he comes out and talks about how he's not gonna make it to Mania, he doesn't have a road, he failed, and then I feel like we're just gonna hear the Undertaker's gong go off, and we're gonna hear the bell, and I think we're going to get that dream match, Undertaker versus Cena, the match we never seen before. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited for that match? I know it's a mixed reaction for a lot of people. Some people will say, Undertaker's old. He's up there in age, and he shouldn't have a WrestleMania match. He retired last year. He left his gear in the ring, and that was an emotional moment. It was perfect ending. But as the speculation's going around, Undertaker dyed his hair. Undertaker's been working out. Undertaker looks like he's getting back in shape for WrestleMania 34 for this feud against Cena. But now that Fastlane's out the way, do we see Undertaker make an appearance soon? Do we sort of see a tease tomorrow night on Raw? I don't know. I think so. I think we do, because I don't understand what Cena would do other than this. Yeah, he just doesn't have a path there, so the only logical match for him is the Undertaker. I don't see him being thrown in. Yeah, it's saying exactly what I just said too. I just wouldn't imagine any other feud or match for him to have. So I think that's everything, man, that went down tonight. I'm looking through my notes. There was a couple of Raw promos that I missed, but it's pretty funny, right? This is Smackdown Live. This is a Smackdown pay-per-view, and whatever happened to the whole brand split when they're airing Raw promos for Ronda Rousey, that segment, and then we see Roman Reigns, that shoot promo he had, or that shoot promo, right, with quotations, because apparently it was a planned sort of angle to make it sound like a shoot. I think I went through everything, man. Tonight, like I said, it was still very predictable. But I think they kind of caught a lot of us off guard by putting on a pretty good performance in the ring tonight. Not a bad pay-per-view in my eyes. Man, what would you give it out of 10 stars, Gundam? What would you get it? 1 out of 10? What would you rate tonight? I gotta say maybe I don't want to give it too good of a rating, but Dude, you nailed that review. You hit all the major points on tonight's show. Thanks, man. Appreciate the support, and thanks again for subscribing, man. Still trying to build up this live stream. Still new to it. Still trying to get used to the camera, man. You know, trying to get my words. I've been slipping on a couple of words recently. I'm so used to making videos where I edit them after. So for me to do a live review without stumbling on my words is still new to me, man. I almost lost my damn voice the other day from just talking so much in front of the live stream. But appreciate the nice comments, man. Appreciate you being here tonight in the chat. I don't think there's much else to say. I think we kind of talked about everything. Again, appreciate anyone who tuned in. I guess that's it for me, guys. Unless I'm missing anything, I'm just double checking my notes, looking through everything. I didn't watch whatever went down tonight on the Talking Smack. Is that what it's called? Talking Smack? I think it's called that. It might be something else now. The post show. I didn't get to watch the interviews or whatever they did. I'm sure they mentioned a couple of things on there, like Asuka. I think Charlotte was on there talking about what Asuka did. I'm sure maybe, I think it was Cena might have been on the show too. I don't know. But I'll catch that on playback, and we'll talk about that tomorrow night for a Monday Night Raw review. I guess that's it for me, guys. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. I'm here for Monday Raw review right after Monday Night Raw. Tuesday, I'll be here for Tuesday SmackDown review. Saturday, I have a show called Showstopper with my co-host Nate, who usually joins me. He wasn't able to join me this week, but usually he's here with me so we can talk WWE news, rumors, and predictions. Everything that's going on. When there's a pay-per-view, we'll talk about the pay-per-view. We'll have some predictions on that day. If it's a Saturday where there's a takeover, come like Takeover New Orleans, you know, we'll change up the schedule a bit. We'll let you guys know ahead of time. If you guys want to follow my Twitter, I just made one for the channel. It's TWOW show on Twitter, and you can find us there for more updates on the show. Just keep at it, man. You're doing a great job for the rating. It was a solid C+ to B- show. It was pretty good. Yeah, I agree. Not the greatest, but a pretty decent show. Appreciate the kind words again, and that's it for me, guys. I will see you guys on the next show. Thanks for watching. You guys take care.